80 ESPN.
WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Michael K. is on the radio today, and he ain't afraid to say what he's thinking. It's the Michael K. Show on 880 ESPN Radio.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Thursday, February 19th, 2026. Me and you for two. Those are the rules of engagement. It's the fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio. And the big story, at least here in New York today, is the Knicks against the Pistons at the Garden. It's a 7:30 start. You can obviously hear it right here on 880 ESPN. And it's a good litmus test game. I don't look at a game like this as a must-win. Although Mike Brown, the Knicks head coach, said this is an important game for us. Here's the only way it's important for me. They can't get blown out again. They've lost 2 games to the Pistons by 69 points. Now, if they lose tonight by 1 point, 5 points, I don't get freaked out. If they lose tonight by 30 points again, and they score 80 points, which is a season low, as they did on February 6th in Detroit, that would concern me. That's the kind of performance that does bleed into the postseason. So we've heard all the stories. Well, the Knicks lost to the Pistons last year, and they beat them. And they got crushed by the Celtics, and they beat them. Got it. It happens. We could all talk about how the Mets beat up on the Dodgers way back in the 80s. I think they were 13-1, something like that, and the Dodgers beat them in the postseason. So these things happen. But when you get shellacked, the way the Knicks have been shellacked by the Pistons, that's got to open your eyes. You got to be a little bit more representative tonight. Now, when they scored the 89 points in the last game, I mean, you have to put some context to it. The context is this. There was no OG Anunoby, and he's expected back today. And there was no Karl Anthony Towns. And if you remember, that day, I was excited about that game. Because I said, this is going to be great. Knicks, Pistons. And then the Knicks don't play 2 of their best players. Now, OG turned out to be legitimately hurt. His toenail on his big toe was off. And it still is. But it's become playable. I'm sure they'll wrap it. The nail has not grown back. It's an ugly, really painful injury. I get it. So he couldn't play. Karl Anthony Towns could have played because he played the next game, which was less than 48 hours later. This was the game after he got hit in the eye against the Cavaliers. Not the Cavaliers, the Pacers. So they just rested him against Detroit. Now, Detroit today comes in not quite whole. No Isaiah Stewart, no Jalen Duran, because both of them are suspended. And they're suspended for their participation in that brawl that the Pistons had. So Pistons are not at their top flight. Their 2 big men, their 2 essential centers are out. So that should help both Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson. Not that they need help, but it certainly should make the load a little bit less to lift. So in the last game and in this game, we're not getting a true evaluation, per se, of what the teams are going to bring to the postseason. But still, you can't get blown out. And the thing that scares me about the Knicks and the Pistons is that the Knicks seem to have trouble with young, tall, lengthy athletes. Because as bad as the Indiana Pacers are, that's the description of the Indiana Pacers. And they lost in overtime to the Pacers. That's the one bummer of a game that they've had in this stretch where they've really played well. So even without Stewart and without Duran, they are a team that's athletic. They still have Cade Cunningham. How are you going to stop him? They're long. And they're lean. How do the Knicks combat that? That's something that you really have to worry about. That's something that you look at and you say, we got to play better against them. We've got to somehow stop the nonsense against this team. So I'll take a close eye or look at this game with a close eye and see exactly what the Knicks are bringing. It should be a good game. I wish that Stewart and Duran were playing, but OG's back. The Knicks are going to be playing Jeremy Sochan, who they acquired as a free agent. That means Diawara, who has played very well, is going to be on the bench. And that's what happened with Kolek because they acquired Alvarado. So Alvarado and Sochan are going to see a lot of time as their bench gets better and more experienced. I think Diawara has played very, very well of late. Very well. And that's a good sign for the future. But right now, the Knicks are built to win right now. They're built to win right now. So let's see what they do. Now, there is some import on winning games because the Knicks right now are third in the East. And the Pistons are first. Pistons have the best record, by the way, in the NBA, if you haven't noticed. Better than OKC. Pistons are 40-13. The Celtics are next at 35-19, and the Knicks are 35-20. Here's what scares me. They're 3 games out of 5th place. So they've got to hold on to one of the top 4 spots. It's imperative. Because the last thing that you want to do is be put in a position to have to beat the Celtics or the Pistons in the second round. You want to have to beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals. You have to look at your toughest jump and say, I'd rather have that jump be the last part of the race, not the middle. Because we all know the Knicks have to at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals. They did last year. They fired their coach. They went to Game 6. They've got to be better this year. Do they have to get to the NBA Finals? Well, their owner seems to think so, right? Their owner seems to think they have to. So the Knicks have won a lot of games of late, but Cleveland's won a lot of games as well. And there are teams that are sneaking up on the Knicks. So the Knicks have to hold their spot within the first 4. That's why a game like tonight is doubly important. Important because you want to show the Pistons, we can play with you. Important because they got to win games to stay in the top 4 spots. You don't want to drop to 5-6. You definitely don't want to drop to a play-in spot at all. So the Knicks have to keep continuing to win games. Now, we spoke about this yesterday, and I took issue with something that Mark Cuban said that, we should embrace tanking. Again, I'm a big Mark Cuban fan. I'm a fan of his personality, the way he's gone about his life, the things he says, the way he's made his fortune. I get all of that. But when you say that the NBA is misguided, that the fans want to see their teams compete every night with a chance to win, he said it's never been that way. He's wrong. He said you fans, they don't even remember the score. They remember who they were with, the family and the friends and the experience. Nonsense. It might be one of the dumbest things that Mark Cuban's ever said. But that's just Michael Kay in New York talking. And I'm sure that's not going to rattle the cage of Mark Cuban. Now, this came out an hour ago. Matt Ishbia, a former basketball player from Michigan State, has become incredibly wealthy and owns the Suns. And he tweets out, tanking is losing behavior done by losers. Purposely losing is something nobody should want to be associated with. It's embarrassing for the league and for the organizations. And the talk about this as a strategy is ridiculous. If you're a bad team, you get a good pick. That makes sense. But purposely shutting down players and purposely losing games is a disgrace and impacts the integrity of the whole league. This is much worse than any prop bet scandal. This is throwing games strategically. Horrible for fans that pay to watch and cheer on their team, and horrible for all the teams that are competing for playoff spots. Awful behavior that Adam Silver and the NBA will need to stop with massive changes, and I have complete confidence that this, with his leadership, he will fix it. Those of us in a position of influence need to speak out. The only strategy, and he puts that in quotes, is doing right by fans, players, and the NBA community. Finally, a voice of reason. Now, how will Mark Cuban react to that? Now, Mark Cuban is not the majority owner of the Mavericks anymore. He cashed in. He sold the Adelson family. And you could say that they're tanking again, the Mavericks. Because Kyrie Irving is going to sit out the rest of the season after undergoing major knee surgery. Everybody thought he would be back this year. But he said, it's best that I be 100% to chase the championship starting next year. There's no urgency anymore. It seems like Jason Tatum will be able to get back and play for the Celtics, but you're not seeing that in Indiana because they're tanking. They want a high lottery pick, so why bring back their best player, also out with an Achilles injury, to win extra games that could knock you down in the amount of ping pong balls that you pick? That's why this is in such stark contrast to what Mark Cuban said. Again, I almost think when I read what Mark Cuban said that his account was hacked. How could you defend losing on purpose? And how could you say that fans go to games they don't even remember the score when they leave? But my rejoinder to that, they certainly remember who won. And if you're a fan of the team, you're not going there just to be entertained. You're going there to watch your team win. I remember something that Buck Showalter said way back in the early 90s. He said Yankee fans don't come to Yankee Stadium to be entertained. They come to Yankee Stadium to see the Yankees win. He's absolutely right. So you could give a fan base the greatest in-arena or in-stadium experience imaginable. And if their team doesn't win, they're not going home happy. That's the reason you go. That's the reason you invest the time, the money, the emotion. You want them to win. And for Mark Cuban to say we should embrace tanking, again, the dumbest thing he's ever said. Yeah, tanking does work because you do get a better draft pick in all likelihood. But is that the way it should be structured? I hope that Adam Silver comes up with a plan that you're not rewarded for losing. And I came up with a perfect plan yesterday, and I'll repeat it again today. The first two teams in the play-in, the 7th and 8th teams, in both leagues, you take their records, and the best record of those four gets the first pick in the draft. The second best record gets the second pick in the draft. Third best record gets the third pick. Fourth best gets the fourth pick. Then you do it again for the 9th and 10th play-in teams. So the first 8 picks in the draft are going to be the first 8 or the last 8 teams in the quote-unquote playoffs. This way you're rewarding a team for winning. So the worst team in the league will get the 9th pick. So they're not completely aced out of improving, but by losing on purpose, you're not getting the best player in college basketball. I'm not allowing you to do that. I am going to encourage and incentivize winning. There's not a better plan out there. I'm telling you, there's not. So you'll have teams that are going to be busting their hump to get into the play-ins. Because right now, teams look at the play-in, they go, why should we bust our hump to get into the play-in? We're going to lose anyway. We have no chance to win. And in all likelihood, they're right. So the teams that are in the play-in get in and almost by accident because they didn't lose enough to be the 11th team. Why should it be like that? Reward the teams that played hard to get into a position to get into the playoffs. And they're not good enough where if you gave like the Detroit Pistons the first pick, well, then it's going to be a never-ending saga where the good teams will remain good all the time and the bad teams don't have a chance to get out of it. But if you're a play-in team, you're right in the middle, which they say is hell in all sports. You're good to make the playoffs, but you're not good enough to win. It's kind of purgatory. But now, if you get that first play-in spot, oh, baby, you get the number 1 pick. You have de-incentivized losing, and you've incentivized winning. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I dare you. Embrace tanking. Come on, Mark. That's not something a shark should say. Do you embrace losing money? And again, if you embrace tanking, then a team that's tanking should let people in free. Or like $10 tickets. Because these teams that are quote-unquote tanky, you think Utah is letting people into their arena for free? No, they're charging top prices. They're charging absolute top prices. It's a joke. It's a joke, and it's a joke in every single sport. Every single sport. It's strange, though, because it doesn't happen for the most part in hockey. It happens a little bit in football, but usually football teams are bad. They're bad. I think that once they establish they're bad, then there could be the incentive to lose the last couple of games. But they're not throwing away seasons. At the beginning of the year, they're trying. These teams that are losing on purpose, that was their game plan going into the year. The Brooklyn Nets are losing this year on purpose. The Utah Jazz are losing this year on purpose. Why is that incentivized? And Cuban's take is, well, you know what? We tanked once in the 23 years I ran the team, and that helped us get Luka Doncic. Oh, good for you. And that's what I mean. That's why it has to be changed. There should not be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow because you lost. You don't get Luka Doncic because you lost. You should get Luka Doncic because you busted your hump to be the team that made the play-in. Now there's going to be some room that gets a little sketchy too, because if you're the 7th seed and you have 2 games left and you're 1 game behind the 6th seed, you don't have any incentive to get to the 6th seed other than the fact that you don't have to play in the play-in game. But losing the last 2 games of a season, completely different than planning on losing every single game during the season. Completely different. And they thought with the draft lottery that would knock it out. Doesn't knock it out because all you want is a chance. You think Utah blinked because they got fined $500,000 because they didn't play their 2 best players in the 4th quarter? They didn't blink because if they get the first pick in the draft, then they could get Boozer with the first pick of the draft. It's worth the $500,000. And if you have the worst record in the league, what's the worst that you could pick? What, 4th? So there is an incentive to lose, and you have to eliminate that incentive. Have to eliminate that incentive. Start with Jay in Newburgh. Jay.
Hey, Mike, what's going on?
How you doing?
Yeah, how you doing? Good, good. My point is that I really don't see the difference as far as when players hold back for gambling reasons or whatever reason as far as playing, and they get penalized, even banned from the league, to the teams, like you said, tanking and actually getting incentivized with a top 3-4 pick. Like, is it because that they're the owners and Silva is kind of beholden to the owners?
No, I think there's enough owners in this league that don't want this. It's a bad look for the league. Yeah, the owners, they employ Silver. But I think he'd have enough people on his side to say this is ridiculous. Can't have this. And you're right, people, get suspended for life for throwing prop bets. And Ishbia actually addressed that. For throwing prop bets, like for doing, if the over-under for, points is 10 and you decide to get 9 and you don't try to score any point, that's despicable. Because it's in the shadows and nobody knows and the leagues are in bed with the gambling sites. But to be so brazen like the Utah Jazz are being and the Brooklyn Nets are being, losing on purpose. Isn't the whole objective in sports is to actually win games? To try to win every single game? And the Nets will tell you, well, we're building towards something. Well, this is the 10th year of Sean Marks' GM run. There's been a lot of losing in there. And now they're losing on purpose. And I give Sean credit because Sean went out and he engineered getting the big 3, Durant and Kyrie and Harden. It just didn't work out because he let them run the shop. He let them get rid of a really good coach in Kenny Atkinson. That's another story for another day. But if you're a Net fan and you go to Barclays Center and you spend money, or you're a Net fan and you watch the Nets on Yes, You're happy that they continue to lose year after year because they're waiting for that one magic moment when they get a player that's going to change everything. So these seasons mean nothing. They mean nothing. And the Nets would tell you, well, you know what? We're developing players. Yeah, but you're not getting players that could help you win. You could develop players and also try to win games. You're not trying to win games. Now, Jordy Fernandez, I think he tries to win every single game. But the roster that's being put together is not capable of it. And in the Utah Jazz's situation, I don't think they're trying to win every single game. I don't even think their coach is trying to win every single game because of the fact when you don't play your two best players that are healthy in the fourth quarter of a game, you're trying to lose that game. And this is a black mark on the resume of a really great winner in sports, Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge is advocating for this. And then for Mark Cuban to sign off on it, oh, my God. Danny in Massapequa. Danny.
Michael, good afternoon.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Hey, just real quick before I say what I'm going to say. Well, Bob Shepard was to Derek Jeter. You'll always be to me what the wish of the Yankees is. You're my entire life.
Thank you, Danny. That means a lot. I appreciate that.
You know, really, really mean that. Anyway, remember, talk about tanking. Didn't Mark Cuban a couple of years ago throw up the last two games, hitting some starters to get more ping pong balls over the Knicks?
Yeah, he absolutely
What
did.
a hypocrite.
Yeah.
What a hypocrite.
No,
I mean, come on.
He did
tank.
tank. So he's not a hypocrite. He said that we should embrace tanking because it makes
right.
us better.
He
did tank, so the Knicks didn't get that pick. Absolutely, Frank. Danny, absolutely. He absolutely did that. And so he's proven his point. He believes tanking works.
Thanks.
And you know what? He's right.
I just didn't want to think I was crazy. Hypocrite was the Ross word, but sorry, I thought I was going crazy. I thought he did that. I mean, what? That should be. He shouldn't have had that pick last year. I'm sorry. I apologize, but he should have lost that pick.
Well, I don't think it was. I don't think it was last year, Dan. I think it was the year before. It was not the pick that got them Cooper Flag. It was a year before. What was that?
It was for Derek Lively.
It was for Derek Lively, who turned out to be a really good player. So it worked for them. So what he's saying is, it works. And I can't argue with that. It does work. And what the NBA has to do is come up with a system where it doesn't work, where you don't get rewarded for being lousy on purpose. And what Danny's saying, the Knicks had the pick. I think it was in the top 8 or something like that. And so, or if it was out of the top 8, yeah. And so the Mavericks lost the last 2 games on purpose. So it was in the top 8, and they didn't have to give the pick to the Knicks. And it turned out to be Derek Lively. So he's right. It works. But he's wrong when he said we should embrace it because it's good for the team and fans want it. If you did a poll of fans in Utah, they don't want it. I don't think Brooklyn Net fans want it. All these teams that are losing on purpose, there's no way their fan base wants it. And to come out with a ridiculous statement like, well, they don't remember the score anyway. They remember the experience. All right, then go to a G League game. A lot cheaper. I mean, you are really, you're robbing somebody without a mask. You're like walking into a 7-Eleven, holding up your ID, don't have a mask to cover your face, and give me your money right now. That's what owners that are tanking seasons are doing. We're telling you we're losing on purpose, and we still want you to pay the money for your cable, and we want you to pay your money for the tickets. And we expect you to do it, and we expect you to like it, and say, thank you, sir, may I have another? Billy in the truck.
Hey, Mike, I really appreciate you taking the call.
You got it.
Did you hear what Hahn said the other day about getting rid of the draft and kind of having like a set price for each team to spend on incoming rookies? The incoming guys would basically pick where they'd want to go, and the team would have only a set amount to spend on each player.
I did hear that, and there's a reason I don't. It makes. But here's why it doesn't work for me. So you're going to allocate, like I think Alan said, everybody gets $10 million. They could spend it the way they want. Well, okay. But here's where it doesn't work. Guys are going to want to play in New York and L.A. And sometimes the draft is only 5 or 6 people deep. So the big market teams are going to get the best players. If everybody has the same amount of money, they're going to get the best players. Now, smart teams would still be able to get decent players and things like that, but you can't tell me that NBA players are going to want to go play in Utah. That they have a choice between Utah, who has the $10 million, or the Miami Heat that has the $10 million. You know what? They're going to Miami, and they're not going to want to play in Cleveland. That's why I think you need a draft. I've seen that, and that's also being advocated by Cuban in some sense. The more you lose, the more money you have to spend. Again, you're incentivizing losing. I don't love it because of that, because I still think the big market teams will be the ones that prevail. They just will. Players will want to play there. Even if the Knicks or the Lakers or the Heat or the Bulls don't have as much money, a player will go, I'd rather be on that team. I'd rather be on a championship team. It'll help my earning potential down the line. Yeah, I heard Alan say that. I understand his thought process, but I think there's a fatal flaw there where teams in lesser desirable markets, or if you had that same thing in the NFL, you think anybody's going to play in Green Bay? Well, Alan just texted me, and he said, well, it's not. I'll read you what he said. It's not true. Big market teams will already have players playing the positions that some draft picks are and don't want to have that competition, would rather step in with a chance to play. So it doesn't always work that way. If you already have a star playing that position, the next draft won't want to go there, or you don't want him. So I think my idea works a lot better than what we have right now. Respectfully, of course. Love you. It's better than what we have now, but I think we could do better than that. I understand what Alan's saying, but if there's a Cooper Flag that's available and a team has a guy in that position, you know what? They'll get rid of that guy in that position, and the player's always going to want to play in the sexier market and always going to want to play, if they have a smart agent, in Miami or Orlando or the two Texas teams, because there's no state income tax. So you're saving a lot of money too. There's still going to be haves and have-nots. So I think you have to level the playing field. I understand what Alan's saying. I'm not sure he's right that it's better than what we have now. I'll give him that. But I think my idea is better than that. The top teams in the play-in, they get the first picks. The top four teams, 7-8 in each conference, we go by record then, and it'll be first through four picks. Then the bottom four teams, the 9 and the 10, and the 9 and the 10, top records, and they get from 5 to 10. And then the worst team gets the 9th pick. See how teams will try to win. See how teams will try to win and will not lose on purpose. Because if losing on purpose, the best you get is the 9th pick, then you got to be out of your mind to do it. You got to be out of your mind to do it. Come back. We'll talk more about this. Knicks and the Pistons tonight. We're looking forward to that. It's K and U for 2 right here on ESPN New York. Save big on appliances right now, up to 40% off all the top brands during the President's Day sale at PC Richard & Son.
Not all F words are bad. Some are actually great, like fast, free fiber for 4 months. Yep, switch to Optimum Fiber for as low as $25 a month. Plus, for a limited time, you can get 4 months free, HBO Max included for 1 year, and a 5-year price lock. Don't wait, this free fiber deal won't last long, and the fastest, most reliable, most consistent internet speeds await you. Call 888-4-OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com/free today. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hey Yankees fans, gather a group of 10 or more and take advantage of our 2026 Yankees group ticket specials. Whether you're getting together with family and friends, organizing a fundraiser, or entertaining clients, your group will love bonding over the Bronx Bombers. Start planning your 2026 group outings today. Log on to Yankees.com/groups. Call 212-YANKEES or email us at groups@Yankees.com. That's 2026 group tickets. Call 212-YANKEES or visit Yankees.com/groups today.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now at Mattress Firm, save up to $700, plus get a free adjustable base with select Sealy Posturepedic mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Rich Eisen here. For small businesses, every hire counts. And so does your time. Hiring can quickly become overwhelming, from sorting applications to figuring out who's truly qualified. That's where LinkedIn Hiring Pro helps. It streamlines the process so you can focus on connecting with the right candidates, not managing the noise. Hire right the first time. Post your job and get $100 off towards your job post at linkedin.com/Eisen. That's linkedin.com/Eisen. Terms and conditions apply. Hey, it's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of New Jersey is offering 25% off windows and doors and 0% APR for 24 months. Some restrictions may apply. See store for details. Offer ends February 28th, 2026.
A lot of people coming in with suggestions on social media, people calling in as well. And, you know, I don't think there's a perfect system. But I will tell you this, the system they have now is broken. So William Nicholas listens to his show all the time. He said, couldn't the NBA 6th seed potentially tank down to 7th or 8th for a lottery pick? Yes, they could. And I said that earlier. But isn't that better? Because they would only be tanking down, the last 2 or 3 games, right? But right now, they're tanking to not win, to have as many losses as possible, have as many ping pong balls as possible, have the greatest percentage to get a top pick. That's what they're doing. So I'll live with them tanking out of the 6th to get the 7th pick. I'll live with that. That might actually be entertaining. But they're still a playoff team. So the whole season they tried to win. The whole season. You know, Joe Leo, who's running the board today, he said, why not have every team have the same chance in the lottery? You know, all 30 teams have an equal chance at ping pong balls and the way it plays out. And, you know, he said that the flaw in that would be the champion could get the number 1 pick. Yeah, okay. But a 1 in 30 chance. And there would be no incentive for teams to lose to get more ping pong balls. Everybody would have the same chance. The thing that worries me about a lottery, and I don't believe in this stuff for the most part, although I got to be honest, the more I read about life, I'm starting to believe a little bit more in conspiracy theories. But, you know, to this day, people think that there was a frozen envelope so that the Knicks could get Ewing. And there are a lot of NBA owners. I read a story yesterday in The Athletic that when the Dallas Mavericks got the number 1 pick, you know, some owners said that had to be fixed. And the reason they feel it had to be fixed, why would the Dallas Mavericks give one of the best players in the game for nothing to go to the Lakers, who always seem to get that great player? Shaq, Kobe, whatever the case may be, they always maneuver LeBron to get that best player. All of a sudden, they get Luka Doncic for nothing. And was the Dallas Mavericks, were they rewarded by getting the number 1 pick? Anytime there's a lottery or ping pong balls or stuff like that, you're always going to have suspicion. You just are. But with my little theory, The 6th and 7th picks in each conference get the top 4 picks. There's no lottery. Nothing. The team with the worst record, the best they could do is get the 9th pick. Oh, that's not fair. Well, it's not fair that teams lose on purpose either. Not fair. So what we're trying to do is get something that's more fair than others. Hey, Knicks fans, join Bart, Scott, and Chris Carlin for a special Knicks watch party. It's tonight, February 19th at Taramore, 150 West 30th Street, and it's starting at 7 p.m. Watch the Knicks take on Detroit in a big Eastern Conference matchup with Wild Turkey bourbon specials, great prizes, and even a Wild Turkey ice luge. You'll have chances to win Knicks tickets and enter Wild Turkey Bourbon's ultimate New York game day experience this April. Join Bart and Carlin at Taramore tonight. Tip-off is 7:30. It's brought to you by Wild Turkey Bourbon. When you know it's right, don't change a damn thing. Must be 21 or over. Enjoy Wild Turkey responsibly. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Frank in New York. Frank.
Hey, Michael. How you doing today?
Hey, Frank. What's up, man?
Not much. First of all, I wanted to thank you, man. You got us through a tough time during the COVID. The first thing I did was put on the Yes channel, and once I seen you guys, I said, yeah, I can make it through this. So I wanted to say thank you to you, Peter, and Don, man.
I'm going to tell you what, Frank, the opportunity to do that show, that got us through it too. I mean, just to have something to do, an appointment, something like that, in a time that was very dark, it meant something to us, and I'm glad that it meant something to you.
Oh, yeah, it really did. And I could tell it was tough in the beginning, especially on you, buddy, but I appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
Anyway, on the tanking, man, it's disgusting. And my suggestion is kind of similar to yours. I would just reverse the odds. The team with the worst record has the worst odds, period. The team that has the best record that didn't make the playoff has the best odds.
The team that has the best record that well, yeah, I don't mind that. That's not awful. But again, these teams are so strategic, Frank, that even the chance of getting the number 1 pick, like the worst odds last year, Dallas, right? And Dallas got the number 1 pick because that's the way the ping pong ball ponged. That's the worry there. You don't want to incentivize teams not to want to win. So as long as you're in the lottery, you have the chance to get the number 1 pick. That's what tanking's about. They want to have the chance. Utah doesn't know if it's going to get the number 1 pick. They just want to have the most ping pong balls and the best chance. So you're saying the team with the worst record that's not in the playoffs will have the most ping pong balls. It still incentivizes losing. It doesn't incentivize you to try to make the playoffs. My plan incentivizes you to make the playoffs. Dev in Queens does not like my plan. Tell me why, Dev.
Hey, Mike. How are you, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. So I heard your plan about it's not that I don't like it. I just wanted to know, for a team that's, let's say, 15th in the league,
right?
If they end up getting that 9th pick, what if the team is just bad and they can't attract any free agents? More than likely, there'll be a team that won't be able to attract anything. So what if they just continually are bad year after year after year? That's not really, I wouldn't say that's a fault of their own. They just have bad players.
But they're not bad. But they're good enough to make the play-in, though, right?
No. I'm talking about a team that's 15th, like last.
Right.
Like that's just continually last. If their players are just bad, will they have? I just don't think they'd be in a position to make the play-in. If you get what I'm saying.
No, I understand, but if you look at the perfect example, Dev, are the Jazz. The Jazz team is much better than people thought they were going to be. And I think they had an opportunity. In the West, it's tough, but they had an opportunity to win much more games than they did. And they're losing games on purpose. Again, when you don't play your 2 best players in the fourth quarter and they're both healthy, that's why they got fined $500,000. Now, the purpose of the draft, why they did a draft, why it started in baseball, was that bad teams had an opportunity to get good. But they're trying to game the system. If you're a legitimately bad team, then you deserve to have the number 1 pick. But we don't know who's a legitimately bad team anymore. We don't know who that is because they're losing on purpose. If everybody was on the honor system and they won as many games as they could, then you could live with the worst team having the best pick, because that makes the have-nots have an opportunity to be the haves. Now, what you're saying is that the 11th team in each conference would never be good enough to get into the play-in. Well, make yourself better somehow. Draft better, develop better, trade better. And it's not about market size or anything like that. Oklahoma City has an unbelievable GM who's unbelievably bright. I don't think that's the first choice of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to have played in Oklahoma City. But they've made it a destination. They treat their players well. They draft brilliantly. So they're good. They're good. So you can do it. Just some teams lose because they have a bad organization. Make your organization better rather than losing on purpose. Game Time brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 7 p.m., the Nets are in Cleveland to play the Cavaliers. That game will be on Yes. And at 7:30, the Knicks host the Pistons at Madison Square Garden. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. That'll be right here on 880 ESPN. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. We'll come back, talk more about the Knicks and the Pistons tonight as well. Some baseball in the 2 o'clock hour. It's the K-Show right here on ESPN New York.
March is here, and the madness is underway. Schweppes offers above-the-rim refreshment and is proud to sponsor the Big East Conference. Take a break from the action with a Schweppes Seltzer. Enjoy 7 refreshing flavors, such as black cherry, lemon lime, cranberry lime, and strawberry mango. Each Schweppes Seltzer flavor provides a perfect touch for any occasion. Schweppes, a sparkling tradition since 1783, and the perfect way to elevate your everyday refreshment. Stop by your local food bazaar to get your favorite Schweppes Seltzer for a slam dunk experience.
Hi, I'm John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates, the injury firm. You know what's interesting about the words personal injury? The first word is person. And at D'Agostino & Associates, that word means everything. That's because I handpick every person in our firm, from the pleasant professional person who answers your call to the experienced person litigating your case in court. Because every person in my firm is an extension of me, and the only way to exceed our clients' expectations is to deliver the highest level of personal service every single time. And that starts with hiring the right people. You see, we know that every client is a person too. Someone going through the toughest time in their lives and deserves to be more than just a file number. At D'Agostino & Associates, we put the person back in personal injury. So call 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222 and ask for me, John D'Agostino. And let's talk about your case, person to person. D'Agostino Law Bite Back.
Have you ever wanted to go to the NBA Finals? Well, now's your chance, courtesy of FanDuel. All you have to do is use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. NBA Futures let you lock in your pick for who you think will go all the way, whether it's a team to win the championship or a conference title. Have you ever wanted to go to the NBA Finals? Well, now's your chance, courtesy of FanDuel. All you have to do is use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and physically present in New York. No purchase necessary. Limit 1 entry for Profit Boost token. Opt-in required. Must apply Profit Boost token on select market. Restrictions apply. See full terms, including methods of entry, at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-553-7217 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-553-7217. That's 800-553-7217. What do you have to lose? Call 800-553-7217. Again, 800-553-7217.
In the city that never sleeps and never stops talking sports, ESPN New York is always on. Now you can live and breathe everything New York sports wherever you are. On your radio dial, on the ESPN New York app, and streaming live on YouTube. However you watch or listen, ESPN New York is always on for you. Hear us, stream us, watch us. This is ESPN New York.
Yes, welcome back to the show. Everybody having a good time on a Thursday, fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio. Might be the fastest 2 hours in the world. Put it that way. Knicks and the Pistons tonight at 7:30. Unfortunately, not an MSG vehicle. It's on Prime, but you can hear it right here on 880. So get your local announcer, Phil, right here on 880, and it all starts at 7 o'clock with the pregame show. Let's go to Spike in St. Pete. Spike.
Well, one correction, it is on MSG. At least I heard a few people say that. So
you're right, Spike. I'm told it is. My apologies. Good.
Yeah, no, you're a lot smarter than me and a lot wiser than me. Well, okay. Thank you for all the kind words. Let me give you my compliments. First of all, you have a young, very polite producer back there named Joe Leo. It's exactly what I said. I know your system seems to have some credence to it, but if you just put 30 ping pong balls in, I believe there's 60 picks in the first two rounds, you put 30 ping pong balls in, and you pick one out, and you roll the tumbler again, and you do it over and over till you get 60 picks. Too bad if your front office stinks and you can't put anything together and you make bad trades. You know, even Leon Rose had a bad year with, Kemba Walker and Fournier. Mm-hmm. But I want to get to the game tonight. I really do. Detroit's down a couple of guys. Cade Cunningham is a great player. He's a great player. He's not a great shooter. One of you guys can look it up. I believe he shoots threes at about 33%, well below the league average. They're missing their pick and roll guys. They've been punking the Knicks and a lot of teams. They're the most aggressive team, a little dirty to me, in the NBA. I think you and I had that discussion. They will pick Jalen Brunson up with the, what's the kid's name, the twins, Thompson twins?
Yeah, Thompson.
Yeah. One's on Houston, one's on Detroit. They'll probably pick him up at least at 75 feet, maybe at 94 feet. You'll see Josh Hart, who can handle the ball very well and has a great burst of speed. If you fall asleep on him, it'll go to the basket. If OG's back and the Knicks can get the game, keep it close until the last 3 minutes and put Mitchell Robinson in and take Cat out, I have nothing against Cat except he's very heavy-legged. I think the Knicks will make their statement as long as they give up. You know, the last 10 or 12 games, they've been very good defending the three with one or two exceptions. I think it's a statement game for the Knicks. And the last thing, and thanks for the time, as always, the next 11 games for the Knicks, as you call it, is a bear. My father used that expression too. It's a bear. if they finish these 11 games at 7-4 or 4-7 or 5-5, Michael, honestly, you know me really, really well. I don't really care. I prefer for them to go 7-4 than 4-7, but be in the games at the end of the games when you have the clutch shooter, clutch player of the NBA with Brunson. Brunson's got to stop dribbling the ball all the time and let other things take place. You picked up this Jose Alvarado who looks like a little pest. He reminds me of Muggsy Bogues almost, but he was much smaller. The Knicks have to make a statement. The way I see it, now, I could be wrong. You can write it down and then give me hell afterwards. I see the Knicks playing Boston and beating them, and I see Kenny Atkinson, who really had a bad break last year. All school players got hurt, taking out the Pistons because I think they're more talented.
But don't you think, Spike, it's important to stay out of the fifth spot because you don't want to play the Celtics?
Michael, unequivocally. Of course, you need to be top four. I don't think the home court means as much these days as it. Okay. So
because
we're on
look,
the same
Knicks won
page.
3 games in Detroit last year.
And that's got to be sticking their claw.
Yeah,
Look, they got
I think
the
that's
best
the
player
problem
on
with
the
Detroit.
court.
That they beat the Knicks by 69 points in 2 games, Spike, and thanks for the call. And
But the Knicks 3 players didn't play one game. Look, all things being equal, the roster 1 through 9, the Knicks have the better talent. The Pistons may have the best player, but look
don't you
it up.
agree, though, that the Pistons are coming out with more fire against the Knicks because they're ticked off that they lost the rock fight last year?
Yeah. Youth is wasted on the young. The Pistons are a much younger team. You can't, in one season, it's a process. I hate to use that word. It takes years and years. It took the Bulls forever to rid themselves of the Pistons, remember? Forever.
Yeah,
so
the Pistons now are in that spot where they look at it and they go, oh, okay, now it's our time to shine. We almost won last year, and the Knicks went to the Eastern Conference Finals. So they think they're better than the Knicks. They want to win these games with such a ferocity, and the Knicks have to match that tonight. The fact that the Pistons don't have Stewart and Durant, I get it. That's big. But still, they've got enough weapons to be an annoyance to the Knicks. They're good defensively. They hound you. They push the ball. They're physical. The Knicks have to match that. Let's go to John in Queens. John.
Hey, what's up, Michael? How you doing?
I'm great, John. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Before I get into my point, I just want to say I've been trying to call in since you got the new show and work schedule doesn't line up, and I'm just very glad to finally get to talk to you on the new show.
Man. Thank you.
So like you said, to be honest, your plan to fight the tanking, I really like it a lot. But like you said, there's no perfect plan to fight this because no matter what, smart teams are going to find a way to finagle their way to get a higher pick, right? And like legit, the only perfect solution is to do reverse order, but that's not going to happen because we don't want the good teams to stay forever good and the bad teams to stay forever bad.
Right.
And I also think a lot of this is the Chargers being led a lot by the NBA's partners, right? It's broadcast partners and the betting partners. And, it's they're trying to make it seem like, it's for the fans' benefit, right? However you want to believe it. So I don't think there's a perfect solution to fight the tanking. But I thought about this today. What if, like, the NBA implemented an IL system, sort of how baseball has it, right? So you could have, let's say, a 5-day IL, 15-day IL, 45 and 60, right? And the point of that is if you're going to bench somebody for a consecutive amount of games, let's say you bench them, there's load management for Jalen Brunson because they're going against the Hornets and another lesser team, and they play the Pistons on after that back-to-back, right? You can make some sort of rule where, like, hey, if a guy's sitting out back-to-back games, he has to be put on the 5-game IL.
Yeah, but John, they don't sit them out back-to-back games. That's the problem. They sit them out in specific games. So you're saying if they sit in back-to-back, then they have to sit 5. Yeah, I like that. But if they sat in back-to-back, they're probably hurt. They could probably use the 5. I love the NBA. I love basketball, pro and college. I don't like college as much as I used to. I used to adore college. They have 2 major problems, tanking and load management. I think there's ways to fix the tanking. I don't know the way to fix the load management. I just don't. Because they can, I was once told by a trainer, all you have to do is say your back hurts. There's nothing that will show up on an x-ray, nothing like that. If your back hurts, a muscle spasm, it doesn't show up on an x-ray. It's not a skeletal thing. So you can always fake an injury. Now, I think that one way you could do it is have an independent doctor with each team that's not affiliated with the team. Maybe you could ferret out fake injuries. But those are two things. Those are the top of the rung on things that Adam Silver has to deal with. Load management stinks. It stinks for the partners. It stinks for Amazon. It stinks for NBC. And it stinks for ESPN and ABC. Your best players should play every single game that they're capable of playing. There should be no such thing as resting, strategic resting, so that they're good at the end of the year. We could blame Popovich for that. That's got to be fixed, and tanking has to be fixed. Because the one thing in sports that you always have to depend on and you think is legit is that the teams, each team, every time they take the court or the field, legitimately want to win the game. If you're tanking, you do not legitimately want to win the game. And if you're resting players strategically, you're not doing everything you can to win the game. They are the poison pills for the NBA, and it has to be fixed. Has to be fixed. Great news for Met fans, and it has nothing to do with what's on the field. But it could lead to what's on the field. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. Hey, it's Michael K. I love when I get to talk about PC Richard & Son. This has been my go-to store for years now. They're local, they're family-owned, and they truly care about their customers. And you know, I love to support our local businesses. I always have. And you should too. During their President's Day sale, save big on appliances from all the top brands, up to 40% off. In fact, the more you buy, the more you save, with up to $1,000 in additional savings on qualifying appliances. So do what I do and get to PC Richard & Son today. Free delivery excludes Manhattan.
Everyone needs to take care of their mental health, even running back Bijan Robinson.
When I'm on the field and feeling the pressure, I usually just take a deep breath. When I'm just breathing and seeing what's in front of me, everything just slows down. It just makes me feel great before I run the play.
Just like Bijan, we all need a strong mental game on and off the field. Make a game plan for your mental health at loveyourmindplaybook.org.
Love your mind.
Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the Ad Council.
If you've been injured on a construction site, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique labor laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling construction accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for hardworking New Yorkers. From scaffold accidents to slip and falls and equipment failures, they've got your back. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS. That's right, 718-WORKERS, because your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. That's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
ZipRecruiter. This is Rick Brunson, the assistant coach from the New York Knicks. I'll be driving to our games this season in style in my new Jeep Gladiator from Princeton Jeep. My friends at Princeton Jeep gave me all-star treatment, and you can expect the same thing. Just mention I sent you, and they'll treat you like family. Princeton Jeep has tons of inventory and great deals on new vehicles. Visit Princeton Jeep at 1045 State Road in Princeton, New Jersey, or online at PrincetonJeeps.com and tell them Rick Brunson sent you.
ESPN New York, now streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe today and watch the show. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
So, should we split the bill?
But math is the worst.
Not all math, because with New York Lottery's extra multiplier scratch-off games, you can multiply your winnings up to 200 times.
Wait, multiply my winnings?
Yeah, you take your winnings, then multiply those winnings up to 200 times.
So all of my winnings times 200?
Yeah, that.
Oh. I've always said math's the best.
Play for chances to multiply your winnings 30, 50, up to 200 times. Prizes up to $5 million. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of New Jersey is offering 25% off windows and doors and 0% APR for 24 months. Some restrictions may apply. See store for details. Offer ends February 28th, 2026.
With Progressive Customer Service, there are lots of ways to connect with us, so you never have to miss a second of your favorite sport. Because you'd much rather watch a ball go through a net 124 times in 48 minutes when you don't really have to pay attention until the last two, and then somehow those 2 minutes will take an hour. You don't want to miss all that. Luckily, you can chat with Progressive on our app, online, or over the phone without missing a single one of those times the ball goes through the metal circle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Well, I promise you, and I always keep my promise. Good news for Met fans. So there was a top 10 list today of the top earning heads of hedge funds. Do you know what Steve Cohen earned last year? This was his, I guess you'd say, salary for running his hedge fund. He got $3.4 billion. So we've been saying his net worth is $20 billion. Well, now it's 23.4. And it just keeps increasing every single year because he's a brilliant trader. He's been brilliant with hedge funds. And the Mets organization is in a position, because their owner is so wealthy, for him to fund the team out of his own pocket, which I think he's been willing to do because, according to what you believe, he's lost $350 to $400 million in the last couple of years. So when you lose it, that means it's coming out of your pocket. It means that the team is not creating the revenue to support the expenditure. So he's $3.4 billion richer than he was last year. That's great news. Now, it also leads to the big question that, we talked a lot about yesterday. What side is Steve Cohen on when it comes to having a salary cap? Now, you want to play nice with the other owners, and Jeff Passan had a good answer to this. He said maybe he gives up any opposition to a cap to get other things that could benefit him. Well, maybe, but my question would be, what benefits him more than being, if not the wealthiest, the top two wealthiest ownerships in all of baseball? And without a cap, the only thing that you get slapped down is if you go over the quote-unquote Cohen tax, you pay 110% tax. But when you just made $3.4 billion last year, 2025, even if your tax bill is $175 million, right? There's nothing to him. Nothing. That's why I want to see how this all comes together when we talk about a possible cap. There's so many things that have to fall right, like perfect dominoes, in order for this to work on the owner's side. Now, the Players Association did end up approving unanimously Bruce Meyer as the interim head of the association. He was going to do the negotiating anyway, so now he's the top guy. He replaces Tony Clark, who had to resign, I would say, in disgrace for his actions, inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law, then placing her in a job in the Players Association in 2023. So Bruce Meyer is that guy. But again, there's so many things that have to fall into place. Why would Guggenheim Partners agree to a cap? They have shown a willingness. I think Chris Carlin on Bart Carlin before this show had a list where he said that the Dodgers spent 75% of their revenue in players' salary. And the Mets spent a higher percentage because their revenue is much lower than the Dodgers. I think the Yankees' percentage was at 50%. So all of these owners that benefit from being wealthy and having cash on hand, why are they signing up for cap? Somebody explain that to me. Why are they signing up for a cap? Now, you can't say, well, they want to help the other teams. They don't want to help the other teams. Any good competitor doesn't want to help the other teams. Any good competitor is not worrying about competitive balance. They're not. They couldn't care less if the Pirates ever win again. Now, for the good of the sport, you could say that, but really, if you go in the history of leagues, who really made a move for the good of the sport other than Wellington Mara? The NFL is the behemoth that it is because Wellington Mara decided we should all share together. The fact that he owned the Giants did not push him to be greedy and say, hey, I have a New York team that's worth more and I should make more. He said, let's split all the money evenly. And that led to what the NFL is right now. But that was at the beginning. It was the beginning, the nascent beginning of when the NFL really started to take hold. But now we're in the middle of the game here. Guggenheim Partners bought the Dodgers. They didn't buy the Pirates. They didn't buy the Royals. They bought the Dodgers. And they have maximized their earning potential. And they also, a dirty little secret, by the way, they don't even have to pay as much tax as other teams do because they bought a bankrupt team from Frank McCourt. So they are absolved from a lot of the tough taxes that other teams have to pay. So they've got everything going for them. And you think that Mark Walter, who runs Guggenheim Partners, is going to say, yeah, put handcuffs on me. That's what I want. And Steve Cohen, who just made $3.4 billion last year, is going to say, yeah, take away my superpower. Let's do that. If Rob Manfred can pull this off, that will be his legacy because he's trying to diametrically change what baseball's always been about. And that's why baseball's a regional sport and not so much a national sport. Fans love their local teams. So if you're a Yankee fan and on Sunday Night Baseball on NBC, right, you've got the Pirates against the Royals. Not that they would pick the Pirates and the Royals on Sunday Night Baseball. Are you watching even if Paul Skeens started? If you're a real baseball fan, you're going to watch if Paul Skeens starts. But if any of their other starters go, are they getting a big number? No. If you're a Yankee fan, it's the Yankees against the Red Sox on NBC, you're watching. So you're starting off with a regional advantage, and they still make $12 billion as an industry. How are they going to get all 30 owners to agree to a cap? Because when you agree to a cap, you've got to agree to a floor. And we know that the Pirates make money every single year because they don't spend a lot and they get revenue sharing. And the owner of the Pirates probably pockets $70 to $80 million a year in profit that he doesn't spend on the team and doesn't have to. So the big rich guys don't want a cap, and the little sisters, they don't want a floor because it would impact how much money they make. So once you get over that hurdle, then how is Manfred also going to get over the hurdle of convincing the Players Association that they're going to accept the cap, something that they have diametrically opposed since the beginning of the union with Marvin Miller? Some heavy lifting for Rob and for Dan Hallam, who's going to be doing the negotiating. I wish them luck because the last thing I want to see is baseball not happening in 2027. I simply don't have enough years ahead of me to just give away a year of baseball. That's as a baseball fan, not as a broadcaster. Speaking of broadcasting, Howie Rose has it figured out, man. And I texted him this too. 72 years old, and it was just announced that he is going to announce just 84 games this year. No road games except for the 3 at Yankee Stadium. He's not going to travel. Now, he's had health issues, and he also said that if the Mets make the playoffs, he'll do every game, even those on the road. 84 games at the age of 72. And I actually texted him. I said, Howie, you just set the template for me for another, in 7 years. And for every broadcaster that's getting to a certain age. Good for Howie. 81 games at Citi Field, and then the 3 games at Yankee Stadium. He never has to get on a plane. God bless him. God bless him. Last year he did 100 games, so cutting down 16 games. And you know why he can get away with it and others can't? Because he's great. He's one of the greats. And if he tells the Mets broadcaster, you know what? I can only do 70. You know what? They'll take him doing 70. So what Vin Scully did as he got older. At one point, he didn't go east of the Mississippi, and then he pretty much did games in L.A. I don't know. I know I'm not at that level, but I hope that, in 7 years when I'm Howie's age, that I could work something out like that. But good for Howie. He'll do 84 games for the Mets. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was an interesting story by Chris Kirchner in The Athletic. He interviewed Jazz Chisholm, who is in the final year of his contract and will be a free agent at the end of the year. And Jazz Chisholm said that he intends to be a 50-50 guy this year. 50-50. That's 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases. Now, he was 30-30 last year, and for about a month and a half, he was either injured or really was not at his top health. I think he stole 2 bases in a month and a half and still reached 30-30. Still reached 30-30. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't think he's going to get to 50-50 because he was told, well, only one person in the history of baseball has ever had 50-50, and that's Ohtani. And he looked at Chris and said, well, now you're looking at number 2. Boy, would the Yankees love that. And would that create a little bit of a problem? If he goes 50-50, his price is going to go through the roof. And do you want to spend that kind of money on a second baseman? A really good second baseman, but do you want to do that? He's 28 years old, so he's going to be at a young enough age that he can get a long-term contract. But remember, when he was with the Marlins, people thought he was a little bit of a problem, that there weren't many teams that wanted him, and the Yankees made that trade, and it turned out to be a great trade for the Yankees. He's played very well for them. And he also thinks that with the robot ump and the ability to challenge, it's going to benefit him. The Yankees have done their due diligence on who gets the worst calls. Aaron Judge in the league has the worst low strike call of any player. Gets more low pitches that should be balls called strikes than anybody in the big leagues. So the ABS system is going to help him. And they also found out that Jazz gets the most incorrect calls in the top of the strike zone of anybody on the team. So he had 58 walks last year, and he said if they had robot umps completely, like no challenge, but robot umps completely, he would get 90 to 100 walks each year. And that's significant because his 58 walks last year was the most he'd ever had, and that gave him his .332 on-base percentage, which is the most and the highest he's ever had. So the higher the on-base percentage, the better chance that he will get to 50 stolen bases. And that's what I've been saying about Volpe. If Volpe could somehow get to a .340 on-base percentage, he could steal 30 bases as well. But an interesting story. So if you get a chance, take a look at Chris Kirchner's story on Jazz. Let's go back to the phone calls. Let's go to Murad in Brooklyn. Murad, talk to me.
Hey, Michael. Thank you for taking my call.
You got it.
Such a treat to just get to talk to you specifically about baseball and the Yankees. And I want to talk about this Jazz article because when I saw it this morning, my ears started, my head started smoking.
Why?
I just find his personality, I don't want to sound too much of like an old man about this, but I just find him to be too much. His numbers are great, but these quotes, every quote from Jazz in this article, it just screams me first. It just screams, I'm focused on the game, but I'm focused on my own game. If I can go out there and pad my numbers, I'm going to do that. I just can't imagine, can you imagine if Judge came out and said, yeah, I'm going to hit 100 home runs and 200 RBIs this year? Am I being an old man about this?
No, but I'm going to tell you what's different, though, Murad. Here's the deal. Most baseball players don't talk like that. Jazz Chisholm does not edit himself, and that's why the media loves him, because he'll just say anything, and he says what he's thinking. A lot of baseball players might actually think like Jazz. And you know what? They don't say it because they're programmed not to say it. I'm sure that the Yankee media relations department cringes when Jazz says the stuff that he says, but he's a very free spirit.
Yeah, and I know we everyone's we got to encourage Jazz to be Jazz, but if I'm Boone or if I'm even Judge and I read this article, man, Aaron Judge is created in a lab for what you want a Yankee to be, for what you want your captain to be. He sets record after record, year after year, MVPs, batting titles. And you know what you hear him say at the end of every season? Doesn't mean anything to me. I just want to win a ring. And
let me ask you this,
here,
Murad, because you sound like a good sports fan.
Yeah.
Jazz, what sport does he fit in?
What sport does he fit in?
Yeah, the way he talks. What sport would it be acceptable? Basketball.
Yeah, definitely. Basketball is much more of a trash talking sport.
That's how basketball players are. They just say what they think. They're all about, the brand and stuff like that. And baseball players are very, very conservative. And any personality that they have is completely drilled out of them by the organization. They just don't want the players. And I think that's a problem, too, because you don't get the profile that you should have as a star because you're tamped down. Your personality's tamped down. Now, Judge was quoted in that story. He said Jazz could hit 50-50, and he laughed. He said, he could do whatever he wants. Here's the dirty little secret. Of all the sports, the one sport that is most conducive to having a selfish player is baseball. If Jazz goes 50-50, that helps the Yankees. It's not like a point guard has to pass, share the ball. Not like that. Hockey, you have to pass. Football, you have to do everything right for a running back to get the yards. The offensive line has to work in sync and all that. Baseball, if you're a selfish guy and all you want to do is go out and get 4 hits, you know what? It's going to help your team win. And it's Jazz's personality, I think, that has made him less desirable to other teams. And the Yankees took a shot on him. And I'm sure that there are times that he opens his mouth and says the things that he says, and it annoys them. But it's part of the equation. It just is. It's part of the equation. He's not a bad guy, as far as I could tell. It seems like all of his teammates get along with him and like him. And there were rumors during the offseason that the Yankees would listen on offers for him. And that's just doing their due diligence because, in all likelihood, they're not going to want to pay a second baseman $30 million a year. So they want to get ahead of it and maybe trade him at the highest value that he could have. Well, it didn't happen. You know what? And they'll stick with him, and they'll let him have a 50-50 season. And even if they don't return him next year, he would have helped them win. Again, don't be nervous because this is the one sport where you could actually be selfish and help your team win. Go to Weiss and Bayonne. What's up, Weiss?
Hi, how are you, Michael?
I'm great. How you doing?
Not bad. I got a trade proposal for you, Michael, regarding the Yankees.
Go for it.
It's Fernando Tatis from the San Diego Padres. I'm looking for, let's see if you got 2 minor leaguers from the Yankees and throw in just Jason Dominguez. I know Fernando Tatis will solve the woes of the Yankees' shortstop problem. That's one thing. And due to the fact that the San Diego Padres, as you well know, and you're well aware of, that San Diego Padres, they're a small market team. 2007 looks like most likely the owners will implement the hard cap ceiling, and they'll be on the brunt of it. The San Diego Padres with the salary floor, with $160 million. They'll be looking to cut the players. What's your opinion on that?
Well, if you've listened to the show, Weiss, I've been a big proponent of the Yankees trying to get Fernando Tatis, but not as their shortstop. The Yankees feel that they have their shortstop set, and even if it's not Volpe, they have so much depth at shortstop in their minor league system. You know, Kilby and Lombard Jr., they're not looking to acquire him as a shortstop. I thought it'd be perfect to acquire him as an outfielder before you had to, offer Grisham the qualifying offer and you gave Bellinger all that money because he's a star. He's a star. He's a star that doesn't make a lot of money in today's market. When Kyle Tucker makes $60 million a year, what Tatis makes is an absolute bargain. He's a platinum glove outfielder, too. I'd love to get him. Here's the problem. You can't force San Diego to trade him. They're not trading him. A.J. Preller has made it very, very clear he's not trading Fernando Tatis. And I don't know if they would be a floor team. I mean, their payroll's in the 200 millions. They're presently trying to sell the team. They sell out every single game. It's a gorgeous ballpark. I don't think they're a floor team. Are they a $350 million payroll team? No. And they're probably a little less than they are now. And they've locked themselves into some onerous contracts as Peter Seidler was trying to win at all costs. The deal they gave Bogarts is unmovable. The deal they gave Darvish, and Darvish is probably never going to pitch again. Still has 3 years left on his deal. They gave out terrible deals. They extended Machado. Right now it's worth it, but it's not going to be worth it at the end of the contract. So they're locked into some awful deals in order to just try to win right away. But Peter Seidler passed away, and his brothers are selling the team. But I don't think that Tatis is available. If he's available, then the Yankees should move heaven and earth to try to acquire him. And when you say, give them Jason Dominguez, yeah, you'd have to give them Jason Dominguez. You'd have to give them Elmer Rodriguez. You'd probably have to give them Lagrange as well, and a couple of other top prospects. Remember what the Yankees gave up for Soto, and he only had 1 year left on his deal. Tatis has so many more years left on his deal, it would take an unbelievable haul to get him. And the Yankees should try to put together that haul if he's available, but I don't think he's available. Let's go to Matt in Philadelphia. Matt.
Hey, Michael. How's it going?
I'm good. How you doing, Matt?
Good, good. I was just calling because I thought the point you made earlier about Rob Manfred trying to push together this TV deal was interesting because over the summer a lot when I work, I have to listen on the MLB app or watch on the MLB app, and sometimes I can't get the yes on it because of the blackout, so I have to watch some of the other teams we'd be playing. And I just feel like a lot of the time these announcers kind of have almost active rooting for the team they're announcing, where compared to you guys on yes. So I feel like in my years of watching, it's been a little more you guys aren't actively rooting for the Yankees. You're kind of giving a fair analysis of the game. And I was wondering if they're going to do these packages that are that are going to be all the national packages, and you're saying how much these fan bases like their announcers and the media that they have. I was wondering, are these guys going to have to change? Are they going to get network notes? What's going to happen? Because a lot of times you see, I was watching the Orioles and the A's games. You see these guys really actively rooting against the Yankees when they're playing them and for the team that they're announcing for. So I was just wondering if that has anything to do with it. You're in the announcing business, so I thought you'd be the guy to ask.
Well, Matt, first of all, thank you for the nice words. We try to be objective, and obviously in the booth, we know our fans are Yankee fans, so you want to see the Yankees do well, but we don't root for that. We're going into the great unknown, Matt. I don't even have the answers. I don't think my bosses have the answers. There's so many layers to this. So if they get all the regionals under one umbrella, and they sell it as a package to a streamer, would you still have local announcers? I would think it'd be crazy not to, because, baseball is with you 162 games a year. The announcers become part of the family, and I think that's important. But, we've batted it back and forth, all people in the industry. Let's say that everybody is under one umbrella, and they sell that as one package. So if the Yankees play the Cubs in a chance to save money, would you only use one of the announcers, where the Cubs fans would get the Yankee announcers and the Yankee fans would get their announcers, and then when the game's in Chicago, would you get Boog Shambi instead of me? We don't know. I wish I had the answer. Believe me, I wish I had the answer. Nobody knows. Absolutely nobody has any idea how this is going to work. My guess would be you'd still have local announcers because I think it's important to fans. But it might be that you'd get that local game on said streaming system. Like if Netflix paid all that money to have all the games of all 30 teams. Maybe you get them on Netflix and you click on Yankees or you click on Tampa Bay. Again, that's just a guess. We have no idea what's going to happen. We have no idea if the Yes Network is going to exist the way it exists now, if SNY is going to exist, if Marquee, if the Philadelphia Phillies network, if the Red Sox, that we have no idea. It's all a guess. Only Rob Manfred knows what he's trying to do. And I don't think he's sharing it that many people, and he shouldn't. He shouldn't. But if you're going to get a cap and you're going to get a floor, you are going to have to try to centralize all of the local money and split it 30 ways so everybody's on kind of equal footing. What I don't understand, and I'm not a great businessman, I haven't done much with my money in my life in terms of investment, I don't understand how the big market teams would go for it because you're taking away their superpower. I'm just not sure. 1-800-919-3776. Francisco Lindor finally had something to say about the fact that the Mets are not going to have a captain. We'll talk about it when we come back. Also want to continue to take your calls. It's the K Show right here on ESPN New York. But first I want to tell you, have you ever wanted to go to the NBA Finals? Well, now's your chance, courtesy of FanDuel. All you have to do is use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. NBA futures let you lock in your pick for who you think will go all the way, whether it's a team to win the championship or a conference title. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and physically present in New York. No purchase necessary. Limit one entry for Profit Boost token. Opt-in required. Must apply Profit Boost token on select market. Restrictions apply. See full terms, including methods of entry, at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach your friendly live agent. Donation's super easy and your car can be picked up by tomorrow. Call now or go to carsforkids.org.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Not all F words are bad. Some are actually great, like fast, free fiber for 4 months. Yep, switch to Optimum Fiber for as low as $25 a month. Plus, for a limited time, you can get 4 months free, HBO Max included for 1 year, and a 5-year price lock. Don't wait, this free fiber deal won't last long, and the fastest, most reliable, most consistent internet speeds await you. Call 888-4-OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com/free today. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
Hey Yankees fans! 2026 Yankees individual game and group tickets are on sale now at Yankees.com/tickets. Next season's home schedule is highlighted by interleague games against the Dodgers, Braves, and Cardinals. As always, we'll host the annual series of games against the Mets, as well as baseball's best rivalry with the Red Sox. Don't miss out on all the exciting action in the Bronx. Get your 2026 Yankees tickets today at Yankees.com/tickets.
Make cancer screening a part of your annual healthcare routine. New York Presbyterian offers a full range of cancer screenings, including lung, cervical, prostate, colorectal, breast, and more. Regular cancer screenings could save your life by detecting cancer at its earliest, most treatable stages. Screenings are available across New York City and Westchester. Learn more at nyp.org/cancer screening. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian.
There are a lot of reasons why people buy at Ramsey Mazda. It's their selection, it's their customer service, and it's their savings. Lease a new 2026 Mazda CX-30 2.5S Select Sport all-wheel drive for $209 for 33 months. Start shopping now at RamseyMazda.com. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda. Call 833-853-2970 for details. VIN TM105852. MSRP $29,530. Zero security deposit ends 3/2/26.
Hey, it's Alan Hahn. Rings End is your locally owned Benjamin Moore retailer. They're your store for quality with a full line of brilliant and durable Benjamin Moore paints. They're your store for inspiration with thousands of colors and a variety of sheens. And Rings End is your store for expertise with one-on-one advice for contractors and homeowners. Insist on Benjamin Moore paint from Rings End because the gorgeous color you love can't be matched in another brand of paint.
Access to education changes lives. That's why National University provides flexible online and hybrid programs from associate to doctorate degrees. Since 1971, NU was built to serve non-traditional working and military learners nationwide. NU understands the demands of work, family, and service. Each year, more than 130,000 learners trust National University to move forward. Visit nu.edu to learn more.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. So, Francisco Lindor spoke today about Steve Cohen's proclamation that he'll never have a captain as long as he owns the team. Now, you could apply whatever reasoning you want to why Steve did that. I personally think, why cause a kerfuffle by naming Lindor captain when Soto's going to be here another 14 years? And why cause a problem naming Soto a captain if Lindor is going to be here another 5 or 6 years and has been here, longer than Soto? Just leave it alone. And now he's what Lindor said. I respect it. He essentially said he put it to bed, and it's not something that we have to worry about. And you could still be the leader of a team without being the captain, because I looked it up. Do you know how many captains there are in Major League Baseball? So we know that Judge is the captain of the Yankees. You know how many more captains there are in Major League Baseball? I'm going to give you 5 seconds to come up with the answer. 4, 3, 2, 1. One more. Salvador Perez of the Royals. There are 2 captains in all of Major League Baseball. 2. In the entire sport. You could lead a team without having the title of captain. So Steve Cohen, I understand what he's thinking. Why even cause anything? Whoever you name, there's going to be some pushback from somebody. I mean, we look at it in political elections, right? You could get 51% of the vote. Then 49% of the country doesn't like you. There's never any unanimity to anything like this. So why cause the issue? And Lindor's handling it the right way because he looked like he was going to be the captain. The only thing that I find curious that Cohen did, where he just comes out the other day at Port St. Lucie and says, I'll never have a captain as long as I own the team. You've owned the team for 5 previous years. You've never said that, ever. Not once. Now all of a sudden becomes a thing? Why? Why didn't you say that when you bought the team? By the way, I don't believe in captains, and I'm not going to have one. So it's been like hanging over everybody's head. Now, who's going to be the next captain after David Wright? Who's going to be the next captain? I guess there's not going to be. I'm just curious why it had never been articulated before. But Lindor put it to sleep right away. Not a big deal for him, and it shouldn't be. Hey, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Bears are close to coming to an agreement to move their new stadium to Northwest Indiana. Now, Chicago's in Illinois, so they'd be moving to another state. Now, of course, people are freaking out, right? But I looked at a map. Do you know how far Soldier Field is from the spot where they're going to build in Northwest Indiana? 24 minutes by car. So the obvious reaction is to freak out. Now, will they continue to be called the Chicago Bears? I mean, that would be a reason, I guess, to freak out if they change the name. I don't think they will. I think the owners are smarter than that. Chicago Bears, it's a brand, right? But did the world come to a stop when the New York Giants moved out to East Rutherford? Did the world come to a stop when the Jets moved out to East Rutherford? No, it didn't. I don't think the world's going to stop spinning because the Bears moved to Indiana. It's weird, and they're going to jump all over the Governor Pritzker for letting this happen. But I wonder when it's going to stop. When we, as a country, stop giving stadiums to billionaires. When does it stop? The amount of money that Kansas gave to the Chiefs to move out of Missouri, unbelievable. There's always going to be one state that thinks, well, this is going to create jobs and all that. And, you know, I've looked at different research papers, and who knows how much money a team or stadium brings to an area. But doesn't it seem somewhat incongruous, everybody, that we should ever subsidize a billionaire? And I know what the pushback's going to be. Well, we subsidize billionaires to build their businesses, the hub of their businesses in cities. Yeah, I guess we do. And there is the argument. But isn't it a bad look when so many people in this country are struggling and the state of Indiana is going to give just truckloads of money to the Bears and the McCaskey family? Weird, right? But it's happening. All right, let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Dean in Westchester. Dean?
Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Good, Dean. How you doing?
Good. Well, your theory about incentivizing NBA teams to win is good. I like the 7 and 8 getting the first 4 picks. But why don't you just use the lottery after that? That way you're fair to the worst teams in the league. They get the best percentage of ping pong balls, and they could get the 5th pick.
Well, the reason would be, I think that the NBA teams, Dean, value draft picks so much that there would still be teams tanking to get that 5th pick. So if by losing on purpose, the best you could do is the 9th pick, I don't think there'd be any incentive to tank. I just don't. And you'd have an incentive to win to get into the lottery, to get into the play-in. Now, teams that are legitimately bad, it's kind of sucks that you only get the 9th pick. That's the best you could do. But blame your other owners. Blame your other teams for tanking seasons. It's on them. I'm not going to feel bad. They did it to themselves. Let's go to Teddy in Yonkers. Teddy, talk to me.
Hi, Michael?
Yes, Ted.
Yeah, Michael, I've been listening to you for the past year. I caught you late. You would get an A++ in my geometry class. I heard you 2 days ago give an analysis of the baseball situation and with the salary cap and the floor and the it was just phenomenal. It was phenomenal. I've never heard anybody, and that includes the other station with their loudmouths, okay, give an analysis like you did. You're tremendous, and I want to tell you that, okay? Thanks. And I'm a math teacher, so I know exactly about analysis. You would have gotten an A+ in my geometry class.
I wish I had you as a teacher. Thank you.
Okay. Michael, I want to ask you something. With the baseball situation, and then even with the NBA, with the tanking, Michael, I've lost, and I hate to say this, I'm 77. I'm not as well as I used to be. I mean, I did teach for a long time, and I coached basketball, and I coached some baseball. But I've been turned off, especially in college, Michael, you went to Fordham University. I knew Joe Lapchick. I was introduced to him by my coach at the YMHA, who was a player for him. And I met Bobby McIntyre and Kenny McIntyre. They're before your time, but you could always look them up. They played for St. John's. Michael, you go to college on a scholarship. You're getting 4 years free. You spend that's worth, at least in today's market, that could be worth maybe $350,000
at least. Yes.
And for these kids to get paid thousands and some of them millions, and then they can leave after 1 year. Michael, there is no credibility anymore. I'm disgusted by it.
Teddy, I don't blame you one bit. I feel the same way. I said earlier in the show, I used to love college basketball. It doesn't have the same feel to me because kids aren't around for 4 years. There's no connection between the kids and the school. Now, I personally think that players should have been paid for a long time because even the value of a scholarship, they bring in so much more money, the star players, than the value of a scholarship. And a lot of players that want to go pro, they don't care about they're not going to be around for 4 years to get the degree. They're just not. And I've told you what I feel about NIL. I think it's disgusting. Disgusting. There's got to be a better way to pay players. So the schools with the wealthiest alum are going to do the best. You think that St. John's would be as good as they are, 12 wins in a row, a possibility of winning a national championship if it wasn't for Mike Rapoli? Do you think that? No. Fordham doesn't have that guy. And again, let's say that I was incredibly wealthy. I've had somebody come up to me at Fordham and request that I invest in NIL. I laughed at him. I said, are you kidding me? You know what my NIL money's going to go to? My kids so they can go to college. That's what it's going to go to. I'm not going to give you, $100,000 to give to a kid that's going to be at Fordham for 1 year. Is going to have no connection to Fordham whatsoever. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. But the problem with college sports, Teddy, is that there's no governing body. It's the wild, wild west. You do what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it. And the only good thing about the NIL, this stuff used to take place under the table. Now it's right out in the open. The guy in Utah for BYU, A.J. DeBanza, $9 million he's getting for this year. It actually benefits a kid to stay in college than to get the first-year salary in the NBA. $9 million, which I think is being paid by the owner of the Utah Jazz, to play 1 year at BYU. What a disgrace. I love Fordham. One of the big reasons I'm where I am is because of Fordham. I would not give one solitary dime for NIL. Not a solitary dime, because I don't connect my worth to how well Fordham does in athletics. But there are some that feel that way. They want to prop their school up, and when a team wins a lot of games, it does help applications and stuff like that. But you're not getting it from me. Not getting it from me. Danny in Long Island. Danny.
Good afternoon, Michael. Always glad to hear you.
What's up,
a couple
Dan?
of things. I miss you all the time. I listen all the time, but I can't always call. But today I'm in between doing things, so I thought I'd chime in.
Thank you.
You know, I was going to talk about the baseball thing, but let me just mention first with the Bears leaving. You know, when you live in an area where they're taxing your business, whether you're selling bagels or football, and they failed you in a certain way, you have every right to move to another place where they're taking less of your hard-earned money and providing better services. And as far as I'm sure that the people in that organization, that government where they're moving, have their calculators out, and they know that they're gonna drop, just throw a number, $100 million or whatever, and the amount of revenue that they're going to return from that, plus residual revenue of the hotels, the money right down to the studios. You know, when I was doing the college tour, following my son around all these little small towns down south, there'd be these towns that were completely abandoned, and there'd be a factory, and someone said, yeah, well, the factory left, so the whole town just disappeared. So a factory of 200 people supported a town of 5,000 people. So I feel like if you're somewhere where you don't want to be, and that local government is not doing the right thing with your taxpayers' money, well, you have every right to go somewhere where someone's going to offer you a better deal, and it's a good deal for where you move it to. Otherwise, those people would be out of business. Now,
Well,
as far as
I have no problem with the McCaskey family taking the best deal. I mean, their allegiances to their pocketbook, but I just wonder about these states that probably pay more money than they get back just for the
well,
allegiance.
I'd be surprised when you're talking about all those players and you talk about income taxes and hotel revenues. So they're not doing it just for the glory. But anyway, the funny thing is when you look at Major League Baseball, and we go back a long time, Mike, and we remember when the Pittsburgh Pirates, one of the world-class organizations, always competed. For generations, they competed, 60s, 70s, into the early 80s. And, we need the Pittsburgh Pirates. This isn't where Ford doesn't need General Motors. They don't need other competition. We need these teams. I feel bad for these fans. But it almost goes back to the original sin with somehow football 30 years ago, 40 years ago, whatever it is now, somehow managed to come up with this deal where everybody tried to, collect the collective good. You remember Jerry Jones when he first moved in? He didn't want any part of that. And now 30 years later, since he owns the team, he kind of understands that. I could tell you there's 25 teams that have a chance to go to the NFL championship game next year because we have a salary cap and the way things work, and we all work together. We need the Green Bay Packers. We need the Steelers. Baseball. I don't ever see it happening. It's almost like, as I was telling the screen caller, it's almost like the American Civil War. You have one side wants one thing, the other side wants the other thing. There's no way to have an agreement, and it's going to take a tremendous bloodletting to figure it out. And hopefully, I don't want it to come to it, but I think it's going to. But I don't see how Yankees ever give up. Yes, I mean, come on. How are you making up that revenue? Why would they do that? But if they don't do that, you can't have any kind of a salary cap, and it's bad for you have whole areas of this country where baseball's an afterthought because their teams have no chance. I can tell you 8 out of the 9 teams that will make the playoffs right now, and the season doesn't start for a month and a half. It's sad. I don't know what the answer is. I failed geometry, by the way, so I don't have the answer to the question.
I don't have the answer either, Danny. As I've said before, whenever I try to explain it, it's such heavy lifting. I don't know how they're going to do it. And when I asked Jeff Passan, why would the Cubs give up Marquee or the Red Sox give up Nesson and the Yankees give up Yes, he said they'll make it worth their while. I don't know what worth their while is. I have no idea. The lifting is going to be so incredibly heavy that I can only guess. Hey, get ready for Rickleball Madness. Friday, March 20th, ESPN New York is taking over Pickleball Heaven. That's in Medford, New York. Catch a live broadcast of DiPietro and Rothenberg starting at 6 a.m. Then stick around for our social ladder pickleball tournament. They'll crown the champions, then roll right into a college hoops watch party to cap off the day. Sign up now on the ESPN New York app. Spots are indeed limited. Rickleball Madness, brought to you by Pickleball Heaven, the new standard of indoor pickleball. We'll come back, finish up with your phone calls, take you right up to 3 o'clock for Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. The K-Show, right here on ESPN New York.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
This is Rick Brunson, the assistant coach from the New York Knicks. I'll be driving to our games this season in style in my new Jeep Gladiator from Princeton Jeep. My friends at Princeton Jeep gave me all-star treatment, and you can expect the same thing. Just mention I sent you, and they'll treat you like family. Princeton Jeep has tons of inventory and great deals on new vehicles. Visit Princeton Jeep at 1045 State Road in Princeton, New Jersey, or online at PrincetonJeeps.com and tell them Rick Brunson sent you.
March is here, and the madness is underway. Schweppes offers above-the-rim refreshment and is proud to sponsor the Big East Conference. Take a break from the action with a Schweppes Seltzer. Enjoy 7 refreshing flavors, such as black cherry, lemon lime, cranberry lime, and strawberry mango. Each Schweppes Seltzer flavor provides a perfect touch for any occasion. Schweppes, a sparkling tradition since 1783, and the perfect way to elevate your everyday refreshment. Stop by your local food bazaar to get your favorite Schweppes Seltzer for a slam dunk experience.
DraftKings Sportsbook puts you right in the middle of basketball's biggest star-driven moments. Bet player props, bet live, and when a game turns fast, DraftKings has your back with early exit. If your player gets injured anytime in the first half, your bet stays alive. And once it settles, you still get paid in cash. That's built-in protection for star-driven bets. Backed by DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code WHSQ. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly with code WHSQ. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. 21 plus, New York only. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible: overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
Evan Cohen here. In life, as in sports, the pros make it look easy. That's why pro golfers like Jason Day, Ben Griffin, and Patton Kazire trust the pros in lawn care. True Green. They have the experience and expertise to give you a lawn worthy of the PGA Tour. And since True Green does the work for you, you get more free time, or more tee times. So stop stressing over your lawn and start loving it. Sign up now at TrueGreen.com because nobody makes it easier to get a golf course quality lawn than True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour.
NBA fans don't just watch the game, they live it. So stream like you're courtside with NBA League Pass, your ticket to all the action. Watch your favorite team shine and catch the league's brightest stars and rising stars at the same time with multi-view on your favorite devices. From the plays you can't believe to the most live games and the drama that comes with it. If it happens on the court, it's happening on NBA League Pass.
Only select out-of-market games available. Blackout restrictions apply. Additional charges and other conditions may apply. Visit NBA.com/subscriber agreement for full terms and conditions.
All right, coming up is Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg, and you can see Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg live from the Irish Exit at Moynihan Train Hall Friday, March 13th before the semifinal round of the Big East Tournament. Stop by before heading into the Garden or before you commute home. Be part of the College Hoops energy, see the show up close, and feel the big buzz on the Big East buzz in person. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg live from the Irish Exit at Moynihan Train Hall starting at 3 p.m. Friday, March 13th. Just steps away from Madison Square Garden and Penn Station. It's brought to you by Sun Cruiser, Iced Tea Vodka, Sam Adams, and Schweppes. And you should really see the show live because I think what you'll be startled and kind of transfixed out about is how good-looking Alan Hahn is. I mean, really, he's a good-looking guy. I'm sure you could see him on MSG, but when you see him in person, you're kind of like taken aback by how handsome he is. Just saying. I mean, he's no Rick DiPietro, but he is certainly a good-looking man. So drop by and see them on March 13th. Let's go to Andrew in Rockville Center. Andrew.
What's up, Michael?
Andrew, what's up?
I'm a first-time call. Sorry?
I said, what's up, baby?
Oh, what's up, buddy? So, first of all, I got to confess, I used to listen to the other radio station, and once they put that buffoon on, I switched over. I started listening to you guys, and I got to say, I really enjoyed listening to you, and you have a great outlook, a good perspective, and it definitely bodes to, exactly what I'm looking for.
Thank you,
but
man.
I wanted
appreciate
to
that.
kind of piggyback on your NIL, and to me the problem is existentially. It's, as a society, we're looking for money, and I just think that's what everything comes down to, from baseball now to college, which I believe as well that they should definitely make money on them playing because the colleges make a lot more money. But I just think it's like everything's taken away because of money, and I don't think things will change unless we change it. I don't know how to do that, but
yeah,
it just
I mean
seems like
that's
it's
what's
getting
frustrating,
worse and
Andrew,
worse.
is that we know that there's a problem, right? But we just don't know how to fix it because they do deserve to get paid. But if I was the commissioner of college sports, if you sign a big money NIL deal, you got to sign a contract that says you're going to be there 3 years. I mean, we can't have the constant shuffling back and forth, playing one college against the next. You know, A.J. DeBanza, as I said, is getting $8 to $9 million to play for BYU, and he could be up for bid if he doesn't go into the NBA draft this year. He could just say, all right, who's going to pay me more? There's no allegiance to a school. So please don't give me student athletes anymore. These guys, if they stay 1 year, they don't even have to go to class. They essentially only have to maintain a grade point average, which is, I mean, there used to be an illusion of that. College sports is broken, and players should be paid, but there should be some kind of a contract that you have to sign. I mean, these guys that agree to a team, and then they say, well, now we're going to enter the portal because I think there's more money out there. And then you look at Ole Miss. I mean, they signed a kid to play quarterback, and then Trinidad Chambliss is coming back. So the kid was promised he's going to be the quarterback, and then Trinidad Chambliss is coming back, and he's not going to be the quarterback. There's so much lying. There's so much underhanded dealing, and it is the wild, wild west. It's a bad look for college sports. It is. It just is. That's all there is to it. It's crazy. And I wish I was smart enough to give you an answer. Wish I was smart enough. All right, Knicks and the Pistons tonight. I want to see a decent game. I don't want to see the Knicks blown out. This is a more complete Knicks team than the one that got blown out last time where they scored a season-low 80 points. The Pistons have beaten them 2 times. This is the last time they'll meet in the regular season. The Pistons have beaten them 2 times by a combined 69 points. You got to show me more than that. Now, if they get blown out today, does that mean they can't beat them in the postseason? Of course not. But show me something. Also convince yourself that you could play with them. Because if you get blown out again and they don't even have Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren, then that's a problem. That's an issue. The game's at the Garden. Show up. Win the game. We'll talk about it tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Can't wait to talk to you. A big Friday. You know what it is. It's a free-for-all Friday. We get to talk about anything for 2 hours. I love it. Next up, Don Hahn and Rosenberg. In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow at 1.
More people trust their hearts to New York Presbyterian than any other hospital in New York. It's because New York Presbyterian has the most experienced cardiovascular doctors, treating a full range of heart conditions, from heart failure to valve repair, with the most advanced treatments. Find a doctor at nyp.org/heart. New York Presbyterian. New York Presbyterian Hospital, based on U.S. News & World Report 2025 to 2026 cardiology, heart, and vascular surgery rankings.
At PC Richard & Son, we don't just sell you appliances. We show you what they can do